sugar business dragged Universal Robina Corporation's income down 2% to 12.5 billion pesos in 2024. With us now for more is Irwin Lee, President and CEO of Universal Robina Corporation. Good to see you, Irwin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Kathy. Good to see you too.
Well, before we get to URC's earnings and outlook, how's the transition coming along? And talk to us about how that's happened. You're the first CEO to come on board that is not from the Gokongwei family, and you're now wanting to ensure that the company grows as a globally competitive enterprise.
Yeah, the transition has been very seamless. It's been well over 6 years now since I took on the helm. We have a very clear understanding of transitioning Universal Robina from a very strong founder-led company into a future sustainable enterprise. And the discussions we've had really with the family, with our chairman, Lance Gokongwei, we're very aligned on what needs to be done and how we really keep the ethos and the spirit of a founder-led company, the boldness, the entrepreneurialism, the speed and agility, and then bring to bear some of the professional practices that can really help us to sustain the enterprise for generations to come.
So the vision is intact, although there's been a lot of challenges down the line. Top line turned out weaker than forecast, Irwin. So what's your strategy this year to turn things around?
Yeah, I think we're looking very much forward to a strong volume recovery, market share recovery. We have demonstrated that in our international markets. Our international markets have grown high single digits, some at double digits. Even in the Philippines, if we look at our 3-4 year compounded annual growth rate, we were able to grow that in the high single digits as well. In the last 2 to 3 years, the whole Philippines, and I would say the region as well, has been beset by very, very high inflation. If you look at cumulative price increases that have been passed through to the consumer, it's probably in the range of 25 to 30%. And that was driven by commodity costs and input costs and supply disruption starting from Russia-Ukraine war, post-COVID and issues and global supply chain disruptions. So many industries have had to deal with that, and we have done the same in pricing and cost savings. We've rebuilt our margins, and now it's time to pivot back to strong volume growth.
And at a time elections are coming, there is the upcoming midterm elections to latch onto. I know that most of your products are bought and given away by candidates during the campaign period. So how much of a boost do you expect the midterm elections will contribute?
Yeah, elections has always been a good lift for us. We're, of course, banking on some of that lift as well this year. But even without that, in typical years, we've got a strong, for example, a ready-to-drink business. We've got the #1 tea brand, C2. That's been growing double digits in the last few years. We expect that and some of our ready-to-drink beverages, water, Great Taste iced coffee, blue flavored water, Vitasoy milk, all of this I think will benefit from this election season, as well as our snack products that are very much, as you say, giveaway products, but also things that really can help the population as they go out, go to vote, and attend a lot of these meeting the advances.
Talk to us about the selective input cost. You made a mention of it earlier, that it continues to be an issue. Do you foresee that some of the commodities might continue to face some inflation pressures? And if so, which ones?
Yes, there are some very select commodities that are continuing to be problematic. If you follow the global commodities, the two that is most watched today that does affect URC is coffee and cocoa. These are issues on supply constraints, and they come from outside of our country. There are some volatilities in others, but you see some mixed bag of cost movements. You've got wheat costs that go into a lot of flour that are moderating, but you've got also palm oil that has come down but is inching back up again. You see some stability in oil and resins, but by and large, I think the most concerning, because there are supply issues associated with them, would be coffee and cocoa.
So comparing domestic and overseas outlooks, as you're very much present in the ASEAN markets, where are you seeing stronger consumer spending happening? Is it here or overseas?
The whole ASEAN region has been affected by similar issues on inflationary pressures on consumers. We are seeing things come back stronger in countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. Vietnam is still a challenge on macroeconomically, but our businesses have been very strong in all of the ASEAN countries. We've seen high single-digit, double-digit growth in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. And it's been a bit more of a drag in the Philippines. But now we're seeing a little bit of a turn. Cautious optimism, sentiments are getting a little bit better with inflation coming down a little bit. A big part of that would be the rice prices. So all of the volumes are starting to turn a little bit better. Probably too early to call a big rebound, but we're seeing some improvement across all of the countries.
The full exit from the Chinese market, how is that coming along? You've made the disclosure last August, seizing both the manufacturing and sales operations in China. And where is the money going? The reallocation of the money that's come from China and possibly into ASEAN and the Philippines.
Yeah, we're very well on track. We've made all the announcements that are necessary in China. We're working with the regulatory authorities. And we're on a wind down situation right now, which we think will entail probably the rest of the year to complete. Those funds, China was not a big operation for us. Nevertheless, we are very focused on repivoting to the ASEAN region, and particularly to our home country in the Philippines. The Philippines constitutes over 70% of our revenue. This is the most important market. It is our core market. And we have some very good businesses that are growing. We've got some businesses that are challenged by a value for money environment. And we are going to be spending a lot of attention back home in the Philippines, continue the momentum, growth momentum we have in the ASEAN region outside the Philippines, and really drive that volume recovery in the Philippines.
Well, we're going to hold on to your cautious optimism, Irwin. I much appreciate the conversation. Irwin Lee, the President and CEO of Universal Robina Corporation.